So this is the part where it gets real. So, okay, so if you're still with me, hi. It's about to get real fun in here. It was difficult. That was a giving birth. It's quite an experience. Okay, so we'll start from the beginning. Like I said, Saturday night I was in. So I got to the hospital about 10. About 11 o'clock is when I started to feel contractions. When I had gone to the hospital, they had brought me to labor and delivery, and they put me out on like a stretcher. And they put these like bands around my stomach to monitor the contractions so they can see how intense they were getting and how frequent they were getting. So the monitor was like above my head, kind of like over here where I couldn't really see it. My mom and TJ, my fiance, were the two people that were in the delivery room at the time with me and the nurse. So about 11 o'clock is when I started to really feel the contractions again. They were really starting to hurt. They were kind of taking my breath away. Like, it would just be like, oh, here comes one. And then like, okay, we're good. It was at that stage, like, where you're like, just hold on a second, like, it kind of hurts. And then you can relax. As soon as the contraction was over, like, my whole body was relaxed again. It was just like, at that moment, everything tightened and got really painful. So, let's see. I'm trying to think. I don't really know time-wise until she was born. So basically the contractions just kept escalating, and the nurse would check in on me every, couple minutes, every 10 minutes, see how I was doing. And she ran by me my options of pain medication. She said there's 3 different options. One is the same kind of gas they use at the dentist's office. I want to say it's like nitrous oxide or something. I might be totally off. But it's like a gas that they use at the dentist, and they're like, it's just going to take away some of the pain. It's just the gas that you breathe every time you get the contractions. Soon as you, take the gas out, it's out of your system. So they said that's option number 1. And they said if you are even considering getting it, then we need to order it. Because, if you wait to order it and then you're like, okay, I need that gas now, we still have to order it. It still has to come through. It might take a little while. So I ordered that just to be safe. I was like, you know what? Like, I really want to do this natural, but if I get in trouble, at least I'll have something. Then she said option number 2 was an IV, and I don't remember what it was necessarily. But she said that it would just make you feel like you had a couple glasses of wine. It would just take, again, a little bit of the pain away and just kind of make you feel like, so I didn't really want to do that one. And then the third option was the epidural, which I really didn't want to do. So I said, okay, you know what, order option number 1, the gas. If I need it, I need it. But I really want to try to avoid the other 2. So she ordered the gas for me. And then she said, when the contractions started getting bad, like worse, she said, we have a bathtub that you can lie in. It's just like a regular bathtub with jets. It's like those jacuzzi tubs. She's like, you can lie down in it a little while. I'll turn on the jets. It'll help you relax. It'll help you, take care of your breathing, help you just kind of get your mind off of this. So at first I was like, nah, I'm all set. But then eventually I was like, you know what? Like, a bath sounds really nice right now. So I ended up going into the bath. Well, Mama. I'm going to feed her while I talk to you guys. Okay. So I ended up going into the... Do you not want it? Hold on one sec, guys. Okay, I'm going to try to multitask here because I don't know how long she's going to stay kind of quiet to do this video. So I'm going to try to feed her and talk to you guys at the same time. So if I'm not making eye contact with the camera, I apologize. So I went in the bath for a while, and I was probably in the bath for about, an hour and a half maybe. But while I was in the bath, it was so hot to the point of where I was actually starting to get a fever from being in there. I don't know if it was from being in there, but I was starting to get a fever. So I started getting really, really hot, and then the contractions were getting so bad that I was trying to control my breathing, but it would kind of be like hyperventilating. Like, I was like, like, that's unattractive, but that's how I was breathing. So I wasn't getting enough oxygen in my brain because I wasn't, like, breathing through my nose, like, at all. I was just trying to breathe as fast. I was trying to breathe as steady as possible too, but it was really, really difficult. So what ended up happening is because I wasn't getting enough oxygen, my fingers and hands started getting pins and needles, and my hands cramped up. And this is a really funny part that we joke about now, now that it's over, but my hands were like, both of them were like stuck, like this. And I couldn't bend them, I couldn't move them, they were just stuck. And it started making me panic because here I am in so much pain. And then now I can't move my arms or my hands. Well, I'm sorry, my hands or my fingers. So now I'm panicking. I'm like, oh my gosh. So now my breathing is starting to go a little bit insane. And I'm like, I can't move my hands. I can't move my hands. And she's a very loud drinker, by the way. So I'm going to try to talk over her. I'm like, I can't move my hands, get the nurse. So she comes over and she, she's just like, try to relax, just try to breathe through your nose, that that feeling will go away, your hands will uncramp. So yeah, I was, like I said, I was overheating, I was having a fever, my hands were stuck like this. I was hot, so I was trying to fan myself like this. I couldn't even, so TJ thinks I'm like losing my mind in this tub because I can't move my hands, I can't breathe correctly. A whole bunch of things are going wrong. So eventually I caught control of my breathing again, and I started getting feeling in my hands and fingers. And after I got feeling back, I got out of the tub and went back into the bed, the gurney or stretcher or whatever you want to call it. I'm not really sure what those things are called. So then let's see. After the bathtub, I had gone back into bed, and now I was lying on my side. This is more for girls, but like if you have if you have cramps, it kind of like feels better to go into like a fetal position kind of. So I asked the nurse, I'm like, can I lie on my side? It feels a lot better than lying on my back. And she said, okay. So I was lying on my side, and all of a sudden I feel like something like gush out of me. And I was like, I didn't know what to think. I just thought, I was like, oh my God, the baby's here. And so I'm freaking out, and I'm like, oh my God, something just came out of me. Like, what came out of me? And it turned out that it was my mucus plug, because I hadn't lost it at that point. So she's like, don't worry, it's just your plug. We'll get you cleaned up. So now I'm embarrassed as anything. I know it's disgusting. Like, I didn't want them to see that. I don't want them to see any of this. And why aren't you eating? So once they got the plug out of me, then they're like, okay, contractions might start to get a little worse. Which they did. They started to get closer together. And more intense. Let me fix her. And more intense. No? Okay. They started getting closer together and a lot more intense. And I think I'm going to try to burp her, maybe. I'm going to try and burp her. She's a little peanut. She's a little peanut. So they got the plug cleaned up and everything, and then I just sat there for a while. Contractions just were getting really, really strong, and I would just like grip my mom and TJ's hand, and a lot of the times I would like squeeze their hand when I was in a lot of pain, and they're like, squeeze harder. And I physically couldn't. That's not where my strength was going. It was going in my stomach. So I was squeezing as hard as I could, and it was just like barely holding onto their hand. I couldn't squeeze my hands for the life of me. So then after a little while, all of a sudden I feel another like rush of like whatever coming out of me. And again, I'm lying on my side. So again, I panic, and I'm like, what else is coming out of me right now besides the baby? I'm like, something just came out of me. They're like, okay, your water broke. We got to get the doctor. You might have to start pushing soon. So now I'm like, oh God, like I'm not ready for this. I start freaking out. I'm like, I'm not ready to push. So the doctor comes in, and I'm having bad contractions at this point. I am in so much pain. And, hi, baby. What's the matter? Are you okay? So they're like, okay, your water broke, the baby's coming. So the baby's head wasn't in the right position, I guess. I'm not really sure how her head was positioned, but they had me lie on my side again. And I don't know if you want to envision this, but like I was lying on my side, and if you can picture, like I had my legs open, but like I was lying on my side, and they told me to hold my leg up, the leg that was on top up. And they said, okay, we have to put her head in the right position. I need you to push. So, oh God. So I literally felt like she was gonna come out of my butt. I felt like I had to poop so bad. Like, literally, she felt like a poop. Just like the worst poop that you ever had. So I'm screaming at this point when I'm pushing, saying, I'm gonna poop. Like, I'm gonna fart. Like, I was farting up a storm. I was like, I'm gonna poop. I'm gonna poop. And they're like, it's okay. It's okay. Like, it's totally normal. I'm like, no, that's not okay. I'm gonna poop. So, like, just push. So I just had to push. And it wasn't poop. It was the baby. And her head was repositioned as I pushed. I'm not really sure how that worked. So they said, okay, next time you get a contraction, push. So I got a contraction and I pushed, and I could kind of feel like myself opening. Kind of, not really. Like, that's the last thing that I was thinking. At that point, it didn't really hurt. It's so hard to explain. It didn't hurt. The contractions hurt the worst. The contractions hurt the worst out of anything that happened. So I kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and then they're like, okay, the baby's head is in place. We need you to lie on your back and finish pushing. So I laid on my back, and then I had to, like, spread my legs open, like, you know, like, I had to spread them. And then I had to hold my own legs again. That's what the nurse was telling me. So I had to hold my legs. I had to put my hands underneath my thighs and hold my legs up. And they said, okay, push. And I pushed probably maybe 3 or 4 times, and I felt her head. I felt her head come out, and I'm like, at that point, I'm like, oh my God, like, her head is coming out. And they're like, oh, I see your head, I see your head, I see your head. But I didn't hear any crying, so I was kind of worried at first. I was like, is she, like, alive? Like, is she okay? And then they said, okay, push one more time, and I pushed. And then I heard the crying, and as soon as I got past the shoulder, she, like, flew out, and she came out really clean. As soon as the baby came out, they put her right on top of my chest, and I thought, for whatever reason, I thought that she had already gotten a bath or, like, wiped off or something, because she was actually that clean. And then they asked TJ if he wanted to cut the umbilical cord, but he was so, like, I thought he was going to pass out. He kind of sat next to me, so he could see the baby's head come out, but he couldn't see, like, all of everything going on down there. So he saw, like, her come out, but not everything, if that makes any sense. And then she was born. So then they, you know, cleaned her and everything. I guess when I pushed her out, I ripped a little bit. My hospital didn't shave me, and they didn't cut me, which I'm really grateful for, to be honest. But I did rip. And when she was coming out, like when her head was coming out, it burned. It didn't hurt. It just, like, felt like my crotch was, like, on fire. And I was saying that. I was like, it burns, it burns, it burns. And they said, push through the burning sensation. And that's when I pushed, and when she had come out. And then, so once she was out, once, you know, the umbilical cord was cut and everything, they said, okay, we need you to push one more time to get the placenta out. And it wasn't even, like, a push. Like, I just, like, tried to pee, basically, and the placenta flew right out. I didn't see it. I didn't want to see it. So I told you this is going to get real fun up in here. Oh my gosh, now TJ is calling me. Okay, sorry. Are you done eating? You're making a mess of yourself. You're making a mess of yourself. So, like I said, it was just burning. I had ripped and everything. And so, the aftermath, it took them a little while to get her cleaned up. And, you know, they gave her a bath and weighed her. And I think, like, I had to get that Rogan shot. They, like, put it in my leg. It was bizarre. But I didn't even feel it. They're just like, here's a shot. I had no idea that they were giving me a shot. I was just in so much pain otherwise. So we had stayed in that room for probably an hour and a half. So she was born at 2:05, and they let us sleep till about 6 o'clock when we were moved over to the maternity ward where we spent the rest of the time we were at the hospital. And the lactation nurse came in, you know, tried to show me how to feed her. Because as soon as she was born and, like, cleaned up and everything, they had to show me how to breastfeed. And then we were allowed to rest for a while. So the nurse came back into the room, into the maternity ward at this point, and was just, you know, trying to see if she was latching correctly, giving me tips and everything. And, I mean, after a day, like all of Sunday and then all of Monday, I couldn't get her to latch correctly. So then we decided to move to the bottle, which is what I'm doing now. This is actually the brand that I had used at the hospital. That thing was open. So, and then I was visited by some pediatricians for her. And then, I mean, just nurses came in every couple hours, asked if I needed anything. I was really okay. It just hurt to go to the bathroom right afterwards, like for a good 4 days afterwards. It really burned because I had ripped, so basically just burned that area. I was really sore. I was able to walk, but I was kind of like waddling. And when the nurses came in a few times, and not every time, but they would have to check my stomach. So basically, they would push down on the area that the baby was in, and they had me wear these like enormous pads, and like in the beginning when they pushed down, like all this stuff would come out, like a whole lot of blood and stuff, and they were trying to like drain my stomach of all of that. So they did that the whole time I was there. So by the second day, you know, there wasn't as much. But the first couple times that they had to do that, a lot came out. It was so gross. But I had started my period right away afterwards, after her. So, and that lasted, I mean, it's like just ending, kind of. Now it's been a week and a day, where my periods used to last about 3 days, but they said that's normal. You're going to get your period for quite a while after giving birth, so. But, guys, I can talk about this forever. All I know, it was the greatest experience of my life, meeting my daughter. And she is lying in my lap right now, just relaxing, just chilling out, so. I'm going to try to come back to YouTube as much as possible right now. Like I said, right now it's a little bit difficult. I just recorded this video for you guys, and I actually had recorded the rainbow tag, which should be the next video coming up. I actually had recorded that before I went into labor. I had recorded a lot of videos in that week, including like August favorites and too much information. So hopefully these 2 videos will be up for you sometime this week. Also, thank you guys so much for allowing me to hit 200 subscribers. So this is kind of like the 200 subscriber special / you know, meet my daughter. But that means so much for me, you guys. You know, every subscriber is a milestone to me. Every little thing is a milestone to me on this YouTube channel. And just to know that there's, you know, 200 of you guys that want to see what my life is all about, want to see the videos that I produce and everything. It's great. It's an amazing thing. It really is. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting my family. Thank you for supporting my channel. And thank you for supporting the thing I love to do, which is to make videos. So until next time. Okay, I screwed that one up. So until next time, guys, I will see you later, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.